Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Before the Whistle, and we have a super special edition. This is wild. We're coming to you live from the Heel and Making, right? Is this live? Are we live?
We're not live, but
we're pre-live.
We're pre-live. So live is it's just in your head because you're live whenever you want to be.
I'm live right now. I'm leaving. Right? I'm live. Welcome to Before the Whistle. Oh, man. What a Friday we have ready for you. Of course, we're coming to you from my home. I don't know what you call this space. I call it the bicycle garage, but it's like
I would say like your home office. Right?
We're live from studio.
We're live from the studio. The new studio of TBS. Welcome in, Hometown 24. So glad you could join us tonight on this awesome edition of Before the Whistle. Okay, obviously you're asking yourself, like, okay, like this guy, who is this guy? He's funny.
Are they asking themselves that?
We're gonna want more of this guy. Welcome into the show, of course, on behalf of myself, Coach Winston Lee, Coach Ethen Cummings, and special guest. I know you're also looking at this and you're like, what is up with this fancy equipment? These guys actually have microphones. I don't know. You can't see what's going on beside the camera, but we've got an awesome setup for you here.
I think there's enough light.
Friday. There's plenty of enough light. Hopefully you can see everybody. But welcome into the show. We tried to come up with an amazing nickname. If anybody has a nickname for our guy, Dusty, please comment. I'm good with that. Are you good with that?
I think it's going to be all rude stuff. That's what I think it's going to be.
Everything I can think of was like just with the letter D, and I don't know where that could potentially go. So I just leave it alone.
Well, you can just keep it there. Some trademarked rap names.
Well, we did say whenever you mentioned all this equipment stuff, we said at Knott County a couple weeks ago, Pat McAfee, we're coming for you. We've got the better show. We have the better show.
I'm even dressing more casual.
We don't even need a wife beater to be good, okay? We're sitting here, casual, dressy. I didn't get the memo, okay? I know Josh is going to laugh about this. I didn't get the memo.
There wasn't a memo.
I didn't get one. He didn't let me know. And then I roll in. He's casual with the glasses. Who's ever seen Winston Lee in glasses? These are real. Please come on.
He can't see. He's old.
I can't see without them. Where am I?
I just assumed you were going to be dressed up because I'm like. But I came into your humble abode. I came to your humble abode, and I was like, "Is this dude gonna wear a sweatshirt and shorts?"
I'm actually wearing khakis under here. They can't see me.
He's not even wearing pants.
These are shorts.
Oh! Why'd you ruin it?
I'm sorry, I ruined it. You're not supposed to do that. All right. I'm really sorry. I apologize to everybody. This is the first show in Before the Whistle history that I've not donned a collar and khakis. And so, Mom, I'm so sorry. She gets on to me for not tucking in my shirt. Mom, I'm so sorry I'm wearing my hoodie tonight.
It's the dawn of a new era, right? It's the first in the studio. You're comfortable at home with the studio. Your baby's crying. Your wife's mad at you, right?
I'm at the house.
Yeah.
I'm at the house. It's different. When I leave these grounds, I'm dressed. When I'm in the grounds, I am casual.
Are we going to give Ethen a round of applause for the new kid, new baby? New baby. Good job. You did almost nothing in that situation.
And I will 1,000%. Emotional. We're here for you. I will 1,000% blame Ethen to the fact that we are here in the bicycle garage because obviously we're not recording a show on site when there's a baby to be taken care of.
Most definitely.
You have a baby too. you guys are terrible fathers.
I'm included. My wife just peeked her head in here a while ago and she's like, "You gonna help me take care of this baby?" Like, we're not starting recording yet. Right?
No, we're coming after Pat McAfee. We don't have time.
I ain't got time. I'm going after Pat. All right. So, always to kick off the show, of course, we start with our most valuable viewers, and I want to start with this guy because over the last few Fridays, of course, we've been kind of absent. A lot of stuff going on, especially in the little town of Jenkins. Who knew it? But Ryan Farmer, thank you for reaching out to me, buddy. I know TBS has been in Leslie County, and I think it was their first time actually traveling to Leslie County to shoot a live game. And unfortunately, Before the Whistle could not be there, but we're back, and we're going to make this happen for the rest of the season.
Back and better.
Back, bigger, better than ever.
Build back better.
BBB. And Ryan Farmer.
Hashtag BBB.
Hashtag BBB. Hit us up. But Ryan Farmer, thank you for reaching out, man. You are always our number one supporter, and I'm so sorry that I've not been at Leslie. I'm trying to make a game at Leslie, and they've been on a hot streak that we're going to talk about here in a little while. Of course, coming in at 5-2 this Friday. Always a big fan of the show, and always calls me out in the parking lot at Jenkins, who I appreciate so much, is Coach Josh Collins. Always watching the show. I'm sure he's watching tonight. Casey Breeding always watching the show.
Well, he's not watching tonight.
We're live. We're live. This is Friday night.
Live is a mindset, Ethan. Live is a mindset.
He's here right now. He's out there. He's standing back here. John Lowe. There's coffee in here. John Lowe, always watching from Wild and Wonderful West Virginia. Thank you. My parents at home. Mom, I'm sorry I didn't dress up. Any quick, most valuable viewers for the either of you? I know Dusty probably found out today he was on the show, so I don't know.
My baby at home.
Your baby can't watch TV, Ethan.
My wonderful wife, who I've catered to hand and foot for the past 4 or 5 days.
Whoa!
And my mom, Mama, everybody.
She's not
Arlie
like
Lee,
that.
but I'm gonna get to you later.
She's not gonna like
I'm gonna
that.
get to you later, Arlie Lee.
His wife's gonna be mad.
Yeah, she's mad.
She's mad.
She's at home with the baby right now on a Friday night. Anybody?
Is it Friday night?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, this is Friday night. The recording is Friday night. All right, God, we'll cut this part. It's good.
Anybody you want to shout out?
No, I don't really like anybody. So
you think you could round up of like 2 or 3 people?
Yeah,
before Friday night.
Yeah. Before Friday night, I'll find a couple people I like. My biggest fan. Thank you always for supporting me and everything. Winston Lee. Just
I'm here.
Keep. Oh, there you are.
I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm a viewer.
I couldn't tell without your shirt and tie.
My glasses on.
I didn't know who you were, Clark Kent.
This is okay. I can't see without them anymore. Whitney says they're not real, but they are real, Whitney. I can't see.
They're on your face. As far as I'm concerned, they're real.
Exactly. Top 10 state rankings according to KSR this week. And stop me if you have never heard of any of these teams before. At number 1, Boyle. At number 2, Corbin. Here's what's interesting. Coach Haddix used to coach at Corbin. Now he coaches at Boyle. Boyle, Corbin, they're on a crash course to see each other. And guess what? It's not going to be in the state championship, which is wild because everybody will be highly tuned in when they do finally meet. And I know people have that game circled on the schedule. Heard of those 2 teams before?
Yeah, and I personally think after watching Corbin play Friday night, I think the state rankings are wrong. I would put Corbin ahead of Boyle.
Okay.
Oh,
well,
breaking moves.
Breaking moves. We're going to talk about it. Let's save the LCC Corbin chatter for later.
Yeah.
But
I just had to throw that in there. I think that Corbin should be 1.
We'll talk about it. And I'll give you this. Number 3 is male. Number 4, Frederick Douglass, who obviously a few classes above Corbin, but Corbin has defeated this year 6-0. Now, granted, that was at Corbin. They have a new stadium. You know, it was a big hype game. They wore these. Did you see the old Corbin uniforms they wore?
Yeah.
Yeah, they wore like the old red. Supposedly Corbin used to wear maroon back in the day, and it's like a maroon red. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So a big, huge hype surrounding that game, and of course Corbin won that game.
Yo, them boys are big.
Offensive struggle. They're big boys.
Them boys are big. They're grown men. I was worried about them tackling me.
Man, absolutely.
I wasn't even out there.
They ain't even out there. They ain't even out there.
The twins on the ends.
Yeah. How would you like to line up and see one twin on this side and like the same human on that side? It's just like 6'5", 250 or whatever they are.
I would not play. I am a quitter.
Number 5, Cove Cath. Very familiar name. 6 Trinity, 7 LCA, 8 Cal, 9 Ashland Blazer. Nice little Eastern Kentucky team sneaking in there. Has had an amazing year up at Ashland Blazer. And number 10, of course, DuPont Manual. And then, as far as our mountain teams go, and I know this is no shock to anybody sitting at this table, but number 23, Pikeville. And Coach Ethen Cummings insists that Pikeville will figure this out and compete for a state title when the time comes.
Yeah, I'm not worried.
Not worried at all.
I'm not worried at all. You know, we watched this. I've said this 2 or 3 times already. We've watched Belfry start their season a few years ago 0-6. Mm-hmm. They started like 1-6. It was something of that nature.
They ended the regular. I want to say they ended the regular season 5-5.
They didn't win a game outside district play. Is what happened.
But it don't matter until the playoffs.
They still won state. Yeah. You know, and that's due to the fact were they short on talent probably from years before. Comparing them to years before, they were probably short on talent here, but it come down to coaching. You know, when it gets to that point in the season, it comes down to your coach, and Pikeville's got an amazing head coach and coaching staff, and they're going to figure it out. There's no worries for me.
And at some point, you just know how to win when the time comes, right?
Yeah. I think that's what matters, right? Is what does the regular season matter? A lot more like now. It's I know it's terrible, right? And it's going to be a terrible way to bring kids up through the sport. Is it's like really the playoffs is where you're trying to get anyway, right? Because you know. Teaching your kids everything you can, but then everybody wants to win.
Everybody wants to win this.
Everybody wants to win.
Everybody wants to win this hard.
And when you're going to play your hardest and when you're going to coach your hardest, right?
Right, exactly.
It's not like week 3.
No. You're still in adjustment mode. Now, granted, this far into the year, we're out of adjustment mode, but we're guaranteed.
Well, like Ethen said, though, they'll figure it out, right?
Yeah,
They've been good for years and years, and they're going to be good. They'll figure it out.
And you apply that term tough out to a whole lot of teams. And so even if Pikeville isn't a superior team on paper when the time comes, you talk about a tough out is a team that just knows how to do it when the time comes. Moving on, I don't want to get caught up. We're already a little bit behind. So I do want to mention, we can edit, right? Is this Friday?
No, it's live.
All right, so I do... To that thought, and as far as thinking statewide, there was something interesting that I'm actually going away from the script. I'm going to plug in here that came to mind as you mentioned Pikeville and the advantage they will have rolling into the playoffs, maybe or maybe not. But the RPI rankings, of course, kick in second round of the playoffs, and that will give teams home field advantage. And there's a lot of speculation, a lot of don't agree with the RPI. Of course, if you play out of state, it hurts your RPI. And a lot of these teams, like Corbin namely, Pikeville namely, Johnson Central namely, they have to play out of state competition. But whatever the RPI says, there was an interesting email from Julian Tackett, the commissioner of the KHSAA this week, that suggested that teams try to find a way or volunteer to play their playoff games on Thursday nights or Saturdays.
Oh, I hadn't heard that. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Maybe I'm spilling.
I'm
in not the secret
two-time breaking news.
Yeah.
2-time breaking news.
Breaking news! You've heard it here first.
I'm not even sure we were supposed to know it.
Suck it, Pat McAfee. He ain't getting emails from Julian.
So
I don't even know who Corbin is.
He don't even know Corbin.
He's from West Virginia, I think.
He is. He probably knows.
Yeah, I think he probably knows about Corbin.
He probably knows.
Yeah.
He's from West Virginia.
So why is it? What is the reasoning?
So the reasoning is breaking news. You've heard it here first. Reason being, I feel like Adam Scheffler. The reason is that officials, we are. I guess when you think about quality of officials, right? That you want officiating your big time district regional championships, your even your first round of your playoffs. We're going to have some big matchups in the first round, so it's like. The officials, as from what I gather, the kind of problem that's getting ready to happen as these playoffs approach is finding qualified officials to cover all these district games. So, and I guess in the leadership position, administrative position that Julian Tackett is like, how do we solve this problem? Well, let's at least throw this Hail Mary out there, like last gasp before the playoffs start, and see if any of these teams are willing to play on Thursday night or Saturday. My question for you guys, I guess is what I'm getting to, is how much, if you're the 1 seed and you're getting ready to play the 4 seed, does it hurt you or help you to play on Thursday night, or does it hurt you or help you to play on Saturday evening?
Well, here's where I'm at with it I got 2 standpoints on it.
Okay.
As far as Julian, I disagree with that you're going to get better quality officials on Thursday or Saturday, and here's why. It's going to be a night game. Thursday night football. Referees are going to be at home watching that. Saturday in Kentucky.
If I'm official,
they got Catterday on Saturday. On Saturday, it's Catterday.
I got a word for you.
On a night game.
You ready? 2 words.
FanDuel.
Yeah.
DraftKings.
Are you sure?
Exactly. That's where I was.
Are you sure we can talk about sports betting?
I don't know.
I don't know. Are you really going to get quality officials on those nights? And then, as a team standpoint, Saturday, that gives me an extra day to practice. But Thursday's a short week.
Yeah.
I don't want to play a playoff game on a short week.
Can I give a counterpoint?
Dusty, yes.
Please do. I don't think referees watch sports outside of refereeing.
No,
I think they're sick of sports.
I held
totally sick.
I
of
held
it.
a John Brown
Football.
bow, and I had a hard time getting refs because it was on the same day as Kentucky. played.
Kentucky.
Now
played.
Kentucky is
Now,
different,
Kentucky's
right?
different.
Because
Yeah.
everybody watches Kentucky, right?
Right,
So it feels like what is that state tournament like? The foresight that they have to look and see when
Yes.
Kentucky plays.
Yes,
Right.
they
If
do that
Kentucky
every-
plays if Kentucky plays at noon,
Yes.
you're good to go.
Yep.
Everybody's going to be there.
Yep.
But I legitimately think you will have issues if Kentucky plays. And not only that, but nobody's going to come to the game. It's just going to be family.
Yeah.
Like
You're
it's
gonna
just,
lose on tickets.
it's going to be
Yeah.
easy for people not to come to a first round playoff
Yeah.
game. And ideally
Well-
speaking, is a lot of times you have these 1 and 4 seeds that play in the first round that are kind of like you circle them as blowouts.
And
Yeah.
and like people are not invested like they used to be unless it's your family.
yeah,
Right. People
You're
are not
right.
invested in local sports. Like I live right next to a football field that's been around 100 years.
literally on top
And
of it.
literally on top of it, and people just don't come out. I know it's middle school, but like, you know, it's
the pride in
football.
your community to come
Yeah,
watch.
people just don't come out.
Yeah.
People don't come out to games unless it's just family in the stands. And I know you guys you experience that too, right?
Yeah.
It's mostly family.
Yeah.
Right. When it's like, and then if you don't go to regular season games when you're not invested in the playoffs because you don't know who the heck anybody is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or who players are, and you're not invested in any player because you're
So
not
it's like,
there.
why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree, and those are two excellent points concerning the situation. So we'll have to just wait and see how that plays out. But I think it's just so interesting that that's where we're at now, that we're trying to play playoff games. What's that, playoffs? Playoffs! And on Thursday night or Saturday night or Saturday day for that matter, whenever they would be able to make it happen. And I got to think too, if you're the 1 seed, I mean, you're not wanting to play a potential threat at the 4, on a Thursday night on a short week.
That's what I was gonna say. It's a short week.
You know.
I don't know what the setup is. Is it right before state?
Yeah.
Is the
Short
first
week.
round the week after
Yeah.
the last game of the season?
Yeah,
Well, you're gonna get players or teams that don't even play their players in the last game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're undefeated or have 1 loss or 2 losses, you're probably not even gonna
Why
play
am I
your.
risking my guys? It's like
Yeah.
NFL. Like,
Yeah.
what am I going to do risking my guys? All right, excellent points. We'll keep our eyes on that in the weeks to come here on Before the Whistle. We'll keep that conversation going and see how things pan out. Don't be shocked.
And we got some referee buddies we'll have on to have the whole argument.
I think I love that idea. Let's
Yeah.
let's.
They're not necessarily your guys' buddies because you guys are coaches. So Kevin declares your buddies.
Don't tell them where they're coming. Just say, hey, we're going to Mayking. Come on. All right, time for our 2-minute drill. Man, I don't know what it is, but for me, the NFL has been wildly entertaining but wildly disappointing all at the same time. And it's crazy to say that. But of course, at the top of all that, and the cream rising to the top, I guess you so to say, but the Niners, I don't know if they're going to lose. Are they going to lose a
Why
game
would
this
they?
year?
Who are they going to lose to? Have you seen their schedule? Everybody they were going to play against, they already played.
Is that it?
Yeah, they don't
What's the
play.
Cowboys yet?
They play the Rams. They play.
The Hawks.
They're not going to play anybody. They're not going to play anybody. Anybody that's
See, that division.
now
is
you're going to give them
Rams.
2 losses, right? Because they're going to lose to like a random Jaguars in December, right? Because sometimes they
When
win
they go
games.
travel, when
Right.
they have to be on the road, they're not gonna. I don't think they're not gonna lose on the Bay. They're not gonna lose
Yeah.
in San Francisco. They may go somewhere cold and lose a wild, wacky game. I've not seen.
I don't think so.
schedule,
Christian
but-
McCaffrey's from the cold. I think you're just going to give the ball to him.
Oh, he is from the cold, isn't he? Now here's my thing. Is that how many seasons have we seen where Christian McCaffrey plays every single game at the capacity that he's played thus far and the load that he's carried thus far in as many games? And if I'm coach, I'm starting to think a little bit heavy down the road is that maybe I start to peel back
So
that workload.
that's what I was gonna ask you guys, and from the coach's perspective, right? I get the unique perspective of only been a coach of little kids, right? So and you guys coach, the upper level of it. As a coach, if you were coaching in the NFL or the NBA,
Yep.
like if you feel about resting them, like is it how do you feel about it? Because obviously you get people went to come to see them,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you get paid and it's your job.
Sure.
Right. But you're not calling in sick. Your boss is giving you a day off. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's 2 different things. So it's hard to look at it because I know from your guys' perspective, you wouldn't do it in high school, right? Or like, I don't know if you have. So
I wouldn't do it in high school
because they're still teaching. You're learning.
Yeah, but you can still learn no matter what. And the thing is too is like and still even at that there might be a game every once in a while like okay my kid tweaked his ankle and we're rolling into this game.
Sure,
it really doesn't play any factor. I mean as far as like long term, and maybe it's a game that I don't know, despite the competitive level that you expect the game to be, but this kid's tweaked an ankle and we let him rest an extra day and he'll be fine next week. Maybe. But as far as an NFL approach, me personally, I'm looking at Christian McCaffrey and I'm looking at my schedule and I'm maybe not necessarily saying, hey, you're wearing hoodie and sweats this game, but I'm maybe saying like, hey, instead of 20 to 25
you get 10 carries.
You might get 10 to 15 touches on this one. And maybe it's something I don't even take, like it's a known between me and this player is like, hey man, once we get in good shape, your health is way more important than it may be not more important than this win, but when the win is secured, like you're talking about that Dallas game, they're up, 28 to 10,
sure.
21 to 10, 28 to 10, and it's like, at what point am I like, come on, let's see how this series go, and if it gets a little sketchy, we'll put you back out there. But otherwise, you need to come over for a bit. But I will tell you this, and it's killing me in the NFL. I've never seen the bunch with hamstring injuries. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not a physical therapist. I'm not an NFL coach. I'm not one of these strength coaches. But to me, and I'm watching on TV, and what little bit I think I might know, I just don't like the fact that NFL players go out here, run 100 yards full speed, come over to the bench, and sit on a cold bench and just sit there.
Man, I think it has a lot to do with they don't practice anymore.
I think so too.
They're not used to taking hits. They're not used to running full. I know they work out. Their workout regimen is freak, right? Their workout regimen is crazy, right? The stuff they do is nuts. But that's different when you're lifting or when you're hitting, like you're putting full pads on and hitting. They have 3 preseason games. Most of your stars who make any money hold out and don't play any preseason games.
Don't get Arthur started on this.
Joe
Burrow.
I mean,
he's like, Joe Burrow, this is his 3rd practice. That's why, of course, we're losing.
Every team sucks the first 3 weeks now. Yeah. And that's why the NFL has been so weird, is because they're still warming up.
Yeah.
I don't even think it counts till week 5.
Well, I actually heard this the other day, and Bill Belichick, I guess, in a recent interview, they asked him about, how he felt about this losing, of course, and he's like, I'm not worried about it. The season don't start till November.
Preaching. That's the gospel.
Like, okay.
That's the gospel.
I guess that's true.
What are you going to argue against him?
No.
Right?
And then, I look at of course, me being an avid Bengals fan, it's like, they started 0-2 last year. They start 0-3 or whatever this year, and it's not a big deal to anybody. Everybody on the Bengals is like,
and that's what I'm talking about with high school sports too, right? Is that you start 0-3, like you said. Who is it? Start 0-6 and then won. Belfry started 0-6 and won the national title. Won the state title.
Yeah.
Right. That's it's easy as that, right? You don't know what you're doing until then. Maybe their boys were confused or hadn't played or
Right.
It's the same thing.
Shape.
Yeah, not in shape.
Whatever. I don't know.
That was longer than 2 minutes.
They lose?
Man, I look at the conference like that conference is so
trash.
It's so trash.
Like the Niners in the AFC. Come on now, they've already lost 2 or 3 games, at least 2 games.
Oh, that's a hot take.
That's spicy.
No, I can name AFC teams. Chiefs are better than them. The Ravens are better than them.
Oh,
on the good day, the Bengals
the
are
Ravens?
better than them. Brock Purdy's legit in a bad conference.
Ravens tough when they
Put
start.
him in a good conference. Put him in the top quarterback conference with all the top quarterbacks.
You hurt my feelings.
Purdy, really Brock Purdy? Come on now. Jesus.
It hurt my feelings.
Now, the Niners have a great defense, but offensively, they wouldn't be able to hang in the AFC. Tell me I'm wrong.
I think you're wrong.
They're pretty tough, man.
I would tell you the X factor for me, who I really like this year when he's out there and he's healthy, that I think takes him to another level. Because, Debo, he can get it in space, but it still has to float around the line of scrimmage for him. McCaffrey, you can get it to him in space and stuff, but you still have to be around the line of scrimmage. The guy that creates separation has just been so good in my eyes is Ayuk. I actually referenced the Goofy movie in an article last week on
It's
Cat Talk.
100%.
Will you please go read that and like it, please? for my father. He loves Goofy. I love a Goofy movie. All right, so Ayuk is like the guy. Ayuk.
You can't help it. It's in your head now.
Yep. And he's the guy for me that's been like, okay, he takes that offense to another level. And then, of course, Kittle comes out of nowhere the other night and scores 3 freaking touchdowns.
He wasn't warm.
I mean, God.
He wasn't
It's
warm.
like they threw to him 3 times in the past 4 or 5 games.
Now listen, all right, I'm a basic man. I like basic things.
Sure.
Okay? Basic man, I like basic things. All right? And I'm simple. So, in a guy-off,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Nobody's better than the 49ers. If you
Yep.
pick a team and we have a guy-off and I name a guy and then you name a guy on that
There's
team,
no more guys.
there's nobody better than the 49ers,
Yep.
right? Because the 49ers have a guy at every position. They
every
have
one of
a
your guys.
guy.
I agree. I agree.
I don't know.
You know,
Like,
you mentioned
I
your
can
Chiefs.
make that argument.
The Eagles have a lot of guys, right?
have a lot of dudes.
See, the thing is,
The
the
Chiefs
Chiefs
have a lot of
the Chiefs have a lot of guys, but they don't have a lot. They have a lot of dudes, but they don't have a lot of guys. Right? They lost a lot of guys, right?
They did.
But they have one very
But they
important
have,
guy.
yeah. See, that's what I'm
but they
saying.
have the best
Very
guy.
They
important
have
guy.
one
That-
dude.
that- yeah.
They have
They
a
have
dude,
They
right?
have a
And
dude.
he's all that matters.
You got Debo, and you got McCaffrey. I've lost my train of thought now. The Fins. They actually broke history this past week. They are the most yardage ever by any team offensively up to this point in any season ever. You know, is the greatest show out of water. Is
They have
what I call
guys.
it with the Fins.
The greatest show out of water.
The greatest show out of water, man. And I just think they have this figured out. Coach has this figured out. I honestly
Love him.
In my personal opinion, I do not think Tua Tagovailoa is very good. I don't. I don't think he can throw it very far. I think he can throw it accurately. But they have it figured out for him. Kind of like in the Brock Purdy situation, right?
Yeah.
It's like Brock Purdy, honestly, I mean,
As long as nobody
pretty
touches
good.
Tua's head, he's good.
But he's not. But you know, but Tua's out there walking around concussed. He's great.
He's awesome. Sure, it's
but
awesome.
yeah.
You don't know what's going on.
But and of course, Achan, the A Train, is out for a few weeks now, multiple weeks, and they're a different team.
Interesting fact about him and Tyreek. He ran on that breakout run the other day. Was the fastest any player has ever ran in the NFL. Did you know that? It was like
22 miles per hour.
21.8 or something.
Yeah.
On the very next play, Tyreek Hill broke it and ran 22.
It's almost like they're having a competition.
They were just like, who's faster? Let's go.
But now I will say to that end, of course, the Bills went out a couple of weeks ago and shut that down. You know, really, hard. I mean, like pimp smack the Fins, like grabbed them by the dolphin tail and just waved them around a little bit and
Yeah.
set them back down. But I think they, on any given Sunday, you get the Dolphins in the playoffs and you give it the, coach comes up with one game plan and one scheme over the course of a 2-week period. You're rolling into maybe not even wild card weekend, but the next weekend. I mean, they can beat somebody.
It's why we play the game. It's why we play the game.
I don't buy the hype, man.
I
I don't buy the hype.
Tyreek,
I
Wall.
think
You such a hater.
I think
You're
that-
such a hater.
No,
Another spicy
here's
take.
my thing is I think that they're a good regular season. You have good season teams and you have good playoff teams.
Yeah,
They're
I
not a
agree.
playoff
That's the
team.
Bills. That's the Bills. They're always great.
I do not.
if they
I
sucked in
don't
London.
buy the hype. I think they're going to do great. They're
Everything
going
in
to put
London
up their
sucks.
numbers. Statistically, they're going to be great. But when you get them into the playoffs, they're not going to win. They're not going to win.
we'll see.
The Bills remind me of that, and to that conversation, of course, over the past, the Jaguars have done what no NFL team has ever done.
Suck forever.
They stayed in London.
Yeah.
They might as well be the London Jaguars or whatever animal you would have. What animal exists?
They weren't in. I don't think they were in London, right? This last time because
Where
it's
were they
London
at? They were in
and
Europe.
They were in London.
no, but there's
2
two.
weeks in
Oh
London.
yeah, but it's two different fields.
Yeah, two different fields, but
Right.
both
They
in
didn't. Yeah, they don't
London.
play at Wembley the first. They play at Wembley the first time and somewhere else the second time.
Yeah.
So the Jaguars come home 2-0 from England, from the motherland, and it's like they're a different team.
Hot
and I
take.
wondered, hot take, motherland, England. We're in the daddy land now. So,
Oh.
yep, there we go, saved it. So I just the Jaguars, are they going to be the same team when they come back home? And do the Bills actually win a playoff game? I saw a picture. What made me think about this, and the only reason I bring it up because I'm bothered so badly by this. In England, they take fries and they put peas on top of it.
Yes, mush.
Green mushed peas.
Have you tried it?
And brown gravy. And somebody took a picture of this at the game, and it scarred me. It killed me. I'm like, dude, what in the hell is this on this man's plate?
Have you tried it?
Don't tell me it's good.
Do you like peas?
I don't know. I like it's like one of those things. Like I like peas on mashed potato, peas, and chicken night.
Hey,
my mom
what is a French fry but a mashed potato just cooked?
I'm not buying it.
Deep fried. No, I'm just trying. I'm trying to sell it real hard.
No,
I'm off it. I'm off it too. Don't do it.
It looked like.
So you can put gravy on my fries.
On fries.
You can put gravy on my fries, I think.
Yeah.
Would you eat? I don't know what they call it.
I wouldn't
gravy,
eat it, no.
peas, and fries.
No, but I'm a very picky eater.
I was gonna say you seem like a chicken tender and fry kind of guy. Yeah.
Plain cheeseburger.
Called that.
Shout out Eric Arrows, who goes with me to Sazone every Thursday night and orders chicken soft tacos, plain chicken soft tacos, and a chocolate milk.
Well, he's 7. Shout out Eric.
But to answer your question,
He's not gonna watch this.
I like the Jaguars.
I do
think
too.
I like Doug Peterson.
Yep.
I like Trevor Lawrence, but I think they're 2 to 3 years away from being that team.
And I think this year, it's Dusty's point, is like they started out 0-2 or whatever, and everybody's like freaking out. Like, oh no, the Jaguars suck again. We were all on this hype train. They won a playoff game last year. They were supposed to be better. And now they go to London and, essentially kick butt.
Well, you can only have,
now
they're
loose and ready to go.
top 5 picks for 10 years. Your team's got to be good.
Yeah.
It's everybody on their teams, and everybody on their team's a top 5
Well,
pick.
and then you betted on Ridley.
Yeah.
And now he's playing. And I love their receiving core. I love Ethen.
One more breaking news I seen over the weekend was Jameson Williams.
Yep.
Got to come back early from his suspension because of the new rule
Because
in the NFL.
because they were just like, you know
What
what?
was your thoughts on that?
I'm good with that. The a couple takes that I heard on shows lesser than Before the Whistle was that.
Like Pat McAfee show.
Yeah, the Pat McAfee show. What I heard on the Pat McAfee show was, this was like, of course it's just really rare, and a lot of people are having the problem with it. Like, can you change the rules like mid-season? Like, yeah, you can change the rules mid-season. You're the NFL. You can do whatever you want. Like
Unless you're in
Roger
fantasy football, don't change the rules. That's fighting words.
Actually, this is funny. Shout out to all my Wattsburg fantasy football kids that are watching. None of them are watching, so I'm going to say this. We actually changed the scoring system in week 2. So, the quarterback's position, we give 6 points to the quarterback. A lot of fantasy leagues
Per touchdown?
do that. 6 points per touchdown. So I like to keep it 6 points per touchdown. It's like a touchdown's worth 6 points, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
So we tried to compensate for that because our league has been so quarterback heavy. We tried to compensate by peeling back on points for yardage and some other points elsewhere. And what ended up happening, man, it came out week 1. And, if you paid attention to the NFL in week 1, quarterbacks just in general sucked.
They were bad, yeah.
Bad week 1. So we're looking at quarterback scoring after week 1, and we're like, oh, God, what have we done?
Yeah.
Like, we have ruined the quarterback position. Like, quarterbacks are scoring like 4 points.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, God. So, of course, the guys start chiming in because they're a bunch of little whiny babies. And
Well, they're fantasy football owners.
yeah. And so we decide, like, midweek, week 2, going into week 2, that we're going to change the system, barring any changes to game outcomes from week 1, which we foresaw that it would not affect any of those games.
Sure.
So we flipped it and made things better, but just a little interesting change to the game there. So, yeah, if you're the NFL, you can absolutely... If the Wattsburg fantasy football team can do what they want to do, surely to goodness the NFL...
Well, I know we're running short on time, but, the tush push, they're talking about banning the brotherly shove, is I think what they're calling it. You know what I'm talking about? The Eagles play that Jalen Hurts gets a yard and a half on every time he runs it. Right? I don't know if people realize that Jalen Hurts squats more than offensive linemen do. You know what I mean? Like, it's not necessarily... Also, like, we're just talking about it because it's now, right? But Tom Brady has the highest conversion percentage of any player ever on 4th down.
Yep.
of any player ever.
Ever.
Because in all his years, the one play you could count on, if it was 4th and 1 or 4th and inches, he was going to dive between the center and the right guard all day long, and you cannot stop it. Because if you need to get 1 yard, honestly, I don't understand why everybody doesn't run that play. I don't get it. People don't. They'll line up in shotgun on 4th and 1. I don't know what's going on. I was like, boys, line up and dive forward. You have the ball in your hands on the line of scrimmage.
And you're gonna throw the ball.
If you can just fall forward.
Back up 7 yards and shotgun. What are you doing?
And then throw a pick 6.
I will say wholeheartedly that I 1,000% disagree with rolling out the tush push or the brotherly shove.
He's just going to get it anyway.
You can't. I mean, what are you going to call? What's the
So
call?
they changed the rule. What they were comparing it to was they changed the rule. Do you remember when Palomalu would jump over
the center,
and he would jump over the center, but he would get like a boost, right? Like he would jump over the center. You can't launch off any player in the NFL at all, right? You can't launch off somebody else. So I guess they're kind of pushing it into that you can't have. But the thing is, how do you ban the play? Like, because then you're banning how many times in a game does a running back run and all the offensive linemen run up behind him, even when it's not on the line? You know what I mean? Even when it's like out to the side, tight ends and linemen come around and push him, get in it and push the pile and gain him 2 more yards. Yeah. Like, if you're going to ban that play, how are you not going to ban the other stuff too?
I agree. And then you start getting into, just really gray area.
Hey, stop it.
Yeah.
Just stop it.
Yeah, just line up and physically stop it. Like, and I have seen teams. I saw a lot more teams this past Sunday. Saw the Giants run it a couple times with Daniel Jones. I saw somebody else run it the other night. Like, there were several teams that were running this with dudes that don't squat 600 or 700 pounds. And guess what? They wasn't as successful. Jalen Hurts is just a freak of nature.
He's crazy good.
He is 700-pound squat. So it's like he gets a push that other dudes don't get.
He could probably play offensive lineman for a few snaps.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's like, I wholeheartedly disagree with outlawing the brotherly shove. All right.
Record scratch.
Yep. Is that right?
I'm just going to add one.
Okay, that's great.
This is no longer the 2-minute drill, it's the 2 hour.
It's actually the 2 hour drill. We have 6 minutes. All right, so speaking of brotherly, not so brotherly, we're at the time where myself and Ethen Cummings are at a dividing road.
I'm here for this.
Not so brotherly.
I'm here for this.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the next 5 minutes. I'm holding this. It says 10 minutes. I'm holding it to 5.
We've changed the segment name.
If
you haven't read the comments on my last post, we have changed the segment. This is now Bird Talk.
Oh, God.
It used to be Cat Talk.
I'm telling you, if I could find this picture of you in a Louisville shirt like 10 years ago, right, I'd have it. And I made like a Facebook post about it.
I've got a story for everyone at home.
I'll give him his moment.
It's Monday of last week, 2023. Go back with me for a second.
Wow.
Go back with me.
We
So
are we are approaching a weekend to where 2 top teams in the state of Kentucky, University of Kentucky, University of Louisville, play top 10 teams. Yeah. Kentucky plays Georgia, Louisville plays Notre Dame. They're coming in ranked. Kentucky's 20th, Louisville's 25th, and all these Kentucky fans, especially in Letcher County, Kentucky, are saying, you know what, we're going to Georgia, we're competing. Louisville's going to get smoked at home while we're down in Georgia competing. It's not even going to be a game. And then comes Saturday.
Hold up. Nobody said that.
Let him go.
I heard people saying that they were going to be.
Nobody said that. Let him have his moment.
Some people have to be stopped.
I'm writing my counter arguments right now. Go ahead. No one said that.
So we're rolling in, and I roll into Saturday. It's my first night with the baby at home, and I try to put his Louisville shirt on him. I was like, man, we may get beat tonight, but at least we'll be repping. But the Louisville shirt didn't fit, so I got a little pacifier with a little cardinal on it. I gave it to him, and we sit there. Well, I kept, I had to check the Kentucky game. I kept looking at it on my phone. I was like, 20-0. 40-13, and finally I just threw it. But in the meantime of looking at that on my phone, I was watching probably the best game of the season. You had an underdog, 25th ranked University of Louisville Cardinals, going in a home game with the arena sold out and not only beating Notre Dame.
Oh, Jack Harlow.
Jack Harlow and Donovan Mitchell's in the building. Stands is packed. We not only beat Notre Dame, but we're up 30-13 before we let them score that. The game was already over. We just let them score that last touchdown. It was awful. They were awful. Notre Dame was awful that game. We won. We took Notre Dame out of the top 10, and guess who got put in the top 15? The Cardinals. Arlie Lee, I hope you're watching this. Louisville Cardinals. It's number 14. 14. Brom back. First time we've been ranked since Lamar Jackson and Bobby Petrino was there whenever Lamar was there. First time we've been ranked. It's 14th. Kentucky is 24th. So they went back. And so now I'm looking at it as this 6-0 is better than 5-1. So here's my question to everybody here. Who really is, the face of this state when it comes to football? It's the Red Team. We're a red state now.
Okay. Boy, you could sell a ketchup popsicle to a lady in white gloves.
Oh, wow.
All right, good job. All right.
So, no one said what you said they said concerning Kentucky and Georgia. No one. No one went into this game saying that Kentucky was going to go down between the hedges and beat the Georgia Bulldogs. Did you?
Never. Not one time did I think we were going to score.
Maybe one delusional person. It's probably Arlie. But there was
I was going to say, do you exclusively talk to Arlie? Because that's the person that said that.
He said that. Maybe Josh Cornett. That's it, our producer. All right. B. November 25th, ladies and gentlemen. It's written right here on this board. I drew up the play. November 25th, Louisville, Kentucky. It's happening. Oh, where's this game? Where's this game at? Is it
at Louisville?
We're going to Louisville. I hope Jack Harlow's there. All right, which takes me to C.
Isn't Jack Harlow a Kentucky basketball fan?
No, he shows up in red.
Here we go. Wait, that gave me an E point. Okay. Thank you. All right, C. The Jets have Taylor Swift. Louisville can have a low-level rapper and Jack Harlow all they want. Keep him.
Chiefs.
Oh, the Chiefs. The Chiefs!
I think the Jets ain't got nobody.
The Jets have a hurt Aaron Rodgers. Louisville has no one. D. Was Notre Dame that bad? Or was Louisville actually that good?
Did you watch the Ohio State game? Did you watch Ohio State Notre Dame?
No, I did not.
Dude.
Notre Dame bad?
The fact that you think Louisville beat a good team.
They were good enough to be ranked top 10.
Yeah, so is Louisville, right? But, anybody can get ranked in a year where everybody sucks.
Come on.
Right?
Come on.
They're only there because everybody else is terrible. And who have you played? You've played Notre Dame. Their quarterback is not even Irish.
We have ranked opponent. We have Duke coming up, who's ranked in the top 25. We have Miami coming up, who's ranked in the top 25. And we also have
Miami. Yeah, I'm sure they'll need to take a knee pretty soon.
Who's ranked in the top 25.
They will not be ranked in the top 25. I can concur.
Compete in the SEC.
I would like to say, right? I would like to say that no one in this room has faith in Kentucky football. All right.
Hey, we have Drake. Keep Jack Harlow.
Put that on us.
I'm actually. Why
are you putting that on us?
I'm actually super excited to go see Jack Harlow.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you kidding? I'm jealous of that.
Yeah,
all right, but the problem is Louisville's not even a Kentucky team. Right, that's the problem with it always. They're barely even in Kentucky.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
You know what's sad is we are barely even in Kentucky, but we still overshine the school state.
Football school.
When you look at
football school.
We're not only a football school, but we're a basketball school as well.
What?
Don't even. We don't have enough time to even do it. We don't have enough time to even do it.
November 25th. All this is settled.
Well, you know what? We may do a show just for the 25th.
Yeah, we'll be way out of before the whistle, but let's do a show.
Well,
Can we do it after the game? Because if we lose to Louisville, I'm not going to be on the show with Ethan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Before the game, you want to do it before the game? Let's do it before the whistle while tailgating for the Louisville Kentucky game.
That's hot. I like
hot.
that.
Yeah.
It's hot. We can
We'll
do
be
this
tailgating in Macon, not Louisville.
but live.
But live.
But live.
Live.
But live.
Argument.
I will say, shout out the one great thing that I've had enjoyment in this Kentucky Wildcat season is watching Ray Davis. And
Sweet baby Ray. That's the best call in the history of anything.
Sweet baby Ray! And so, shout out to Ray Davis. And of course, he scored, which made it 6 consecutive games that he has scored a touchdown for the University of Kentucky. It has never been done by a University of Kentucky player.
Transfer portal, right? Where'd he come from?
Yeah, he came from Vanderbilt. He came from Vanderbilt.
He played it.
Yeah, Leary came from NC State.
Yep.
Ray Davis came from Vanderbilt. So I'm hoping, here's what I hope for Ray Davis. And I hope, a lot of people out there are being really, it's easy to be really negative at this point and say, okay, the Cats are going to lose the next 5 games. And you looking at the schedule, and it's tough. Like, Mizzou is going to be tough this weekend. It's going to be tough. They're good. I thought they had LSU beat.
What conference is Louisville in?
ACC.
Oh, yeah, that's tough.
So I'm looking at the rest of the schedule, and so what if they only win 2 more games, 3 more games, playing a bowl? I really hope that this plays out, that Ray Davis has a future in playing on Sunday, and I see that for him, and I hope it happens. As far as Devin Leary is concerned, I do not see that in his future, but I still have this hope, this kindling of hope.
Don't throw the ball from way down here on the bottom.
I don't blame
Don't throw it off your
Leary.
shoulder.
I don't blame Leary. I blame Liam Cohen, the offense
Man,
coordinator.
I'm telling you, that was just
he does not watch the game. Why are you not running the ball?
Well,
He does not run the ball enough.
Nobody's arguing
He had a
that.
successful
No, he
season
did
with
against
Will
Florida.
Levis.
Yeah.
But Georgia's just a different beast, and the thing that happened that was really tough if you watch the game is like we got a couple bad penalties early and being emotional, and then Leary I felt like was really emotional as well because there was one throw, you know what I'm talking about, in the first series, where Robinson was so open, all you had to do was just pop it over top, and he threw this thing to the moon. And I just, when that happens for a player, what tells me, it's like missing a layup in a game, right? Yeah. It's like, what that tells me is like, he's too hyped up. Like, he's too emotional.
Can't miss those, man.
Can't
miss those.
So, I wish him the best. I hope Leary gets this figured out mentally. I hope we give it to Ray Davis more. And I hope really the focus right now needs to be, we need to play desperate Saturday to beat Missouri. We're going to have to.
They're way better than we're giving them credit for.
Absolutely. We're going to have to play desperate.
That was the best game of the weekend. That Missouri game was awesome.
Awesome. Went down to it. And honestly, it was a little more inflated than what it should have been. LSU had the late pick 6. All right. So the Friday that was, now that we have been into an hour on a 45-minute show, the Friday that was for Kentucky high school football last week, and probably the most surprising score, speaking to that end of surprising scores in Kentucky and Georgia, not as bad, but this one shocked me a little bit. It turns out Whitley is a lot better than I think anybody would have guessed. Whitley beat Perry 56-32. Any initial thoughts on that, E? I know we're kind of keeping up, and you're calling the Perry Letcher game this weekend, and me and E's had that one circled all year long. Is like, we cannot wait for this Letcher Perry, and now Letcher
should be a good game. Quarterback's out.
Letcher gets beat. We're going to talk about that here in a second. But initial thoughts on Whitley and Perry?
It kind of shocked me.
Yeah,
I
me
thought
too.
Perry. I honestly thought Perry was going to go in and steamroll him. I did. But what it doesn't scare me for Perry, because I feel like this Perry Letcher thing in any sport is. It's just one of those big routes.
It's like Baltimore, Pittsburgh, right? They're coming out for each other.
Like, it don't matter what happened last week. Yeah. They're coming at each other's throats.
They could both be trash.
They could both be trash. Yeah, and one of them could be trash, and one of them could be really good.
Game's gonna be good, right?
It don't matter. Like, it's
you play up is what we call it, right?
And Mark Dixon and Chuck Fugit on the Perry County side is going to figure it out. I mean, you're talking about 2 guys that are going to be one day in the Kentucky Hall of Fame for coaching. I mean, they've got state championships. I mean, not with Perry, but with Hazard in the previous years. Yeah. And, they're going to figure this out. And I think come this weekend, and come playoffs, they're going to be prepared and ready.
And you mentioned this, and maybe you can play on this for a second for me, and how important this may play into it for the Cougars. I know you said you had spent some time looking at these rosters for both of these teams, but I mean, Letcher got beat 39-14, which a lot of people were bragging about the job that Letcher County Central's line did against that really tough defensive front from Corbin.
Yeah, so I don't think they played that bad. Like, I mean, the score looked a lot worse than it was.
Yeah.
But it was like some big bust out pass plays and like
a pick.
As far as the trenches go, there was
a couple picks.
There was 2 pick sixes, I think, at least. Right? But the trench battles. Now I will tell you, if you want to wait and go into this, but I will tell you that the Smith twins were not rushing the passer a lot.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. They were kind of playing them in a spy.
Yeah.
Because Gunner's got legs.
Yeah.
Right? And so they were kind of playing them in a spy. The back of Peyton's got legs too, right?
Yeah.
Peyton?
Yep.
Peyton Cummings.
Yep.
He's got legs too, right?
Yep.
So they were kind of playing them in the spy.
Yep.
And Letcher County could just not do anything
Not get
about
around them.
They couldn't get around them because they are men. They are grown men.
You just set them on the line of scrimmage on either side and say, okay, boys, you've got this side, you've got this side. Go ahead. Go do what you want to do.
And Letcher Central has exceeded expectations as well.
Yeah, I believe that.
Because at a freshman, true freshman, I know that's a college term, but he's a freshman.
He's a true freshman.
He's in high school.
Yeah.
And not a lot of seniors on their starting. Your brother.
Yeah.
Right?
He's junior.
Junior. I know, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, not a lot of seniors. Your brother's there.
They're young.
They're young. It should have been a rebuild, but they've, winning 4 games so far is pretty good. And I think they'll give Perry a good game. I think they'll struggle. I think Peyton's good, but I think, he started out the season as a wide receiver.
Right.
And so I think they had a lot of hope in Gunner slinging the ball a little bit.
Right. And I think that's right. I mean, anytime you're going into this huge game, and now all of a sudden we have to take the original game plan and, throw it out.
Hey, man, run the dang ball.
Yeah, you're just going to run the dang ball, right? So, of course, we kind of let Corbin 39, LCC 14, but from what we gather, pretty good job by LCC considering, of course, you heard the state rankings earlier in the show was Corbin ain't nothing to mess with. They are the top team, one of the top teams in the state of Kentucky. So for LCC to put 14 up, I think was impressive for me. I know I talked to Coach Delvonte Dixon. He was like, man, if we can score, if we can just be competitive and score. And they put up 14, and half of that game was with the backup quarterback, with Peyton coming in and doing a heck of a job as he came in. And of course, we do want to mention Gunner and prayers for Gunner. And from what we understand, he's got a hurt back. And so prayers for him and his family as they go through this process of what's next.
Great kid with a bright future.
Great kid, great family. And so, of course, we want to shout him out. Of course, he's coached him before and been close to him before. So we want to give him all credit on a great freshman year.
Yeah.
All right. Corbin beat LCC. Whitley over Perry was kind of shocking. We're going to get predictions for that matchup and Perry and Letcher right here in a second. Leslie beat Danville, who was winless coming into Leslie, but they get it done. It was live here on TBS Cable, 25-19. Leslie now sitting at 5-2. Morgan County over Jenkins, and the reason that I mention this is that you're looking at these Jenkins scores, and it's a lot to a little, sometimes a lot to nothing. And I'm scrolling through the scores Friday night, and this pops up. It lights up red on the Ryherd's scoreboard late Friday night is Morgan County 22 and Jenkins 14. So.
Well, it was a.
Was that a misprint?
They recalled it and it was 62-20.
Oh my God! Well, they still put up 20.
Yeah. It was.
They still put up 20.
Yeah.
And what I will say is that they've been able to score points.
Yeah.
In every game. Nearly every game. They put up points.
Well,
and 20 was their highest point total so far.
And they're coming up against 2 out of their next 3 games are winnable, right? You got Bland, Virginia
games
that they can beat.
Yes.
And then they've got Phelps who beat Bland, but that's a competitive game they can win. Both of them's on the road, but both of them's very winnable games for a small school like Jenkins.
And I will say, and we've held on to this every Friday night, and Dusty, I'll let you talk to this, is at this point for Jenkins, they've competed every week. They've had a team every week. And how important is it for them for the next 3 weeks to just play?
Just got to sustain, man. Like, sustain, right? Programs back. Like, Jenkins football is back. People love Jenkins football.
I will say, you mentioned this a while ago, and I wanted to mention it then. I was saving it till now, but like pride in your community and people coming out of the game, that homecoming game, there wasn't a seat in the stands.
I'm telling you, Jenkins, man, there is no. I wish everybody's fans came out like Jenkins fans come out.
Yeah.
Because Jenkins fans forever. My dad played for Jenkins.
Yeah.
Right. Like Jenkins fans forever come out.
Yeah.
And they do. Yeah. Like and they're awesome. Right. I'm not from Jenkins.
Yeah.
Right. Like
yeah.
I mean, like I'm from Neon. Mac Roberts is basically Jenkins, but
right.
but I'm from Neon, but man. Right? I'm envious of Jenkins fans because if Jenkins can sustain a program and get players out, get the middle school coaches to do the program right, that way you're feeding into the high school the correct way, then, it'll come back. It'll be there. People will come to Jenkins and play like they used to come to Jenkins and play. Because there's advantages Jenkins you don't have anywhere else. And I'm a Neon guy, but people will come to Jenkins and play if you just sustain. If you build it, they will come.
I love it. All right. Paintsville over Hazard, 14-3, and Hazard's kind of dreadful season continues, but we expect them to bounce back maybe in the playoffs, maybe next year for sure. I know that middle school team has had a heck of a year on the Hazard side, and so I'm looking forward to see what coach can build from that middle school team moving forward. This happens to small schools, every other year, right? No one is immune to it, especially now in this generation. Hometown heroes from last week, short list this week. Landry Collette, quarterback for the Leslie County Eagles, 201 passing yards, 47 rushing yards, 4 total touchdowns. Pretty good night. Pretty decent night. You
TDs.
Yeah.
4 of them.
4 TDs, 4 tuttas. And you could... Yeah,
no matter what night it is, that's good.
And he had over, nearly 250 yards total. So pretty good night from Colin.
We're not in Texas. Those are good stats.
Those are good stats. Pretty good night from him. Of course, we mentioned some LCC players and top names. Peyton Combs, we're looking forward to him filling in that quarterback role come this Friday night against Perry. Of course, Kaiser Sloan on the Perry side of the ball we always look forward to. He's got some big names coming up on Friday night. We're going to mention some names from Knott County coming up here live tonight, right? Martin County, our primetime preview is Martin County, Knott County. Martin coming in at 3-4, Knott 2-5. But I will say that looking at Knott scores, they had a heck of a game last week against Floyd County Central in 36-20, and they're playing competitively. And Martin has been a little inconsistent. They play great one week, they play bad one week. They had a blowout over Prestonsburg last week. Preston Shepherd running the ball for Knott County Central, over 660 yards on the year and 12 touchdowns. Of course, the Patriots are going to rely heavily on him tonight. Did I do that right?
Yeah, if it's tonight, yeah.
In order to be competitive against Martin County. I also want to shout out, before we move on, I've moved into primetime preview a little prematurely, but I do want to shout out, I saw this past week, and you guys tell me how big of a deal this is, but Evan Miller, offensive lineman for the Breathitt County Bobcats and sort of our sister station, sort of like just good friends to TBS and the Bluegrass Sports Network. Evan Miller, of course, Brandon Miller's son, has been offered full ride to Morehead State University as an offensive lineman.
Nice.
I think it's pretty cool, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah. Big deal for our mountain kids to get scholarship offers. And, of course, he's not the only one that we mentioned throughout the year, and we expect more to come. But I thought that was a pretty cool one from this past week. And, Breathitt, who's had sort of like a year of disappointment in that it's maybe not what they thought it would be, but they still have a chance to save it. They're actually hosting Leslie this week, so they have a chance to save it this week. But it's pretty cool to see our mountain kids get an opportunity to play at the next level.
Yeah, either way, just, put your effort towards, man. You can do whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Oh, man, we're going to have to edit this. Ease Prophecies. Leslie, 5-2. I think this is a really interesting matchup. Leslie, 5-2, and we've talked about over and over every week that they very well could be 6-1. Yeah. But Leslie's 5-2. They are at Breathitt, 2-5, who also could realistically be, something like 4-3.
Sure, you lose some games that are close.
Sure. So Leslie at Breathitt. This is now a district matchup on the Riverbanks in Jackson.
Yeah.
Breathitt has had some time now to figure this out. Leslie's sort of been hot, here and there. Leslie at Breathitt. Let's start there.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but I have to tiptoe around one of these two teams that we're talking about. I cannot, Anyway.
Look, here's Pat McAfee on TV.
Anyways, no, here's my thing is I'm taking Leslie, man. I'm taking Leslie in a close one. And I'll tell you why is I've got a source.
Oh.
I've got a source.
This guy don't have a source.
This guy don't have no sources.
He's wearing a Penguins jersey. All right, go ahead.
I have a source that tells me Austin Sperry's no longer with the team.
Okay.
And a couple other players are
I've actually heard that as well.
Breathitt County?
Key players with Breathitt County. So, if there's players moving in and out, I'm not saying that's right. It's just what my source said. Don't get mad at me.
Just factual.
Don't take me. Take the source.
It's not necessarily factual. It's just sources.
But, if that's true, I've got to take Leslie. Leslie's been hot. Breathitt's been not. So let's take Leslie in a close one, 24-12.
Dusty, want in on the fun?
When you're going up against a team that you don't think is good,
Yep.
things change, right?
I agree.
When you're going up against a team that you don't think is good, you don't put your full effort towards. And especially if, like, what you're saying is true and they don't have a lot of their players, right? People are leaving, right? You're going to go into that game, you're going to coach worse. Your players are going to play worse.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I absolutely. It's a mental thing.
Or it mattered that much and you're going to get completely blown out.
Well, here's the thing. If you think Leslie's usually the little brother to Breathitt.
Yeah.
So if anybody's coming into that game with the mindset, it's Leslie, right?
Sure, but not this year.
Maybe not. I think I'm going to agree. I'm going to agree that Leslie, I hopefully, knowing Coach Melton and Leslie County Eagles, I feel like this is a game, a district game, and in a district that they wanted to compete in, and they're circling Breathitt as one of the teams to beat in this district from day one. And so the fact that they lose guys, and the fact this hasn't worked out for Breathitt maybe as everyone thought, and Leslie included, and Breathitt included, I still think they find a way to go in this game mentally sharp and prepared and try to get this done at the right
I don't know how Breathitt doesn't go undefeated every year. Have you ever seen kids from Breathitt County? They're huge. Everybody from there looks like they were just pumped full of...
Oh, trust me. I know every one of them. I know right to the T. I used to know, but now I do.
They all hate Ethen.
I go to a Breathitt game, right? We're at Hazard when they're playing Breathitt, as I'm walking out, hey, you're the guy from the video. Hey, nice to meet you. You're the guy from the video?
What video?
Okay, so quick story time. So we are doing the TVS show before the whistle at the regional basketball tournament, and Breathitt plays in the first round, and one of our hosts picks them to lose. You picked them to lose the first round.
I picked them to lose in the first round. Yeah.
Right. Did they lose in the first round?
No, they won. They won the whole thing.
Oh, so get wrecked.
So then the second round, I picked them to lose against Hazard. And then I think in the championship, whoever was with us picked them to lose in the championship.
Yeah.
To Perry, was it?
It was Manus.
So Manus picks them to... So after it's all said and done, a couple days later, Breathitt has this hype video. Now no longer hype because it was already said and done at that point. But a celebratory video. And it's a cut of all three of us like predicting
No
him to
way.
lose. Yes.
Oh, Spin
You'll have
Zone.
to look it up. Yeah.
Spin Zone.
Yeah.
You guys motivated the crap out of them.
Exactly. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
So another quick story.
You should get a trophy. You should get a trophy for in here.
Was there
You
rings?
need one. If there's rings, you guys should get rings.
Another story, right? Real quick, and you can cut this later if you want to. But I'm down. So
Ethen, I'm
after the
cutting all your
video's
parts.
done, he sends it to me. He sends me the video. It's like this is right before the state tournament.
Yeah.
We go to state tournament every year. Yeah. And so I walk in, and after the games, you walk over and get you a bite to eat at the Lakes Live.
Yes.
You go over to Lakes Live, get you a bite to eat. Everybody's there, coaches, players. While I walk in, I'm with Trevor. He hadn't made it down. You didn't go.
I didn't come.
Yeah, he didn't go last year. But
Shout
I'm walking in with Trevor, and here sits, as soon as you walk through the door, here sits the whole Breathitt County team, fans, and I'll never forget that. Was it Haskins?
Yeah, it's Bryce Hoskins.
Bryce Hoskins stands up and says, "Hey, it's you. You're the guy." And everybody just looks at me. And I look at Trevor. I'm like, "We're going to sit with Hazard." I spot Hazard. I'm like, "We're going over there." I see Coach Holland. So that's another funny story. You can cut it. I don't.
No, never have I. I'm proud because they say you've made it to the top whenever you have a diss video. Whenever you get a diss track about you.
Yeah, that feels. Yeah, that's good.
He gets them all the time.
It's good.
And also, I mean, like I said, the motivation, boys. Y'all motivated.
We motivate.
Motivators. That's what you guys are. Good job.
No, you're welcome, Breathitt. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm picking Leslie.
Before the whistle,
I'm kidding.
You heard it here. Before the whistle, state champions.
All right, last game. Last topic now.
4 hours in.
4 hours into this. The one to rule them all. Perry, 4-3. Letcher, 4-3. Who wins this game? I know there's factors that play into this. Of course, Gunner is out, but I think it goes without saying that Peyton can fill that role and do well. And maybe it changes the game plan, and maybe it may be for the better, right? Maybe they run the ball a little bit more from that quarterback position now that Peyton's capable of doing. I don't know, but there's so many factors that play into this game. Maybe emotionally Perry's come off a little low. It's at Letcher. Obviously being at Perry would be a big difference. Who wins this game?
I'll let you go, Coach. Pop off.
Well, going into this game, a week ago with everyone healthy, my prediction would have been different. But I've got to take Perry in this one, right? Letcher's coming in with a backup quarterback, and I'm not saying that Peyton can't get the job done. But what I am saying is he's fresh. He's not started a game all year.
Well, the game plan has changed.
Perry has a veteran quarterback. I mean, you got Kaiser Sloan, who's been great. He was great at Knott County. He's been great since he's got to Perry. And, I think it's going to be a close game. I think both teams are going to come to fight, but I think Letcher just comes up a little short. And when I say a little, I mean a little short.
Like 32
to 28. I think it's a scoring game. I think Letcher's going to punch it in the end zone. I think Perry's going to punch it in the end zone. But, 32-28. 36, 32.
Yeah.
Perry takes it.
The over-under on this game has to be like 50, 55. It's somewhere between, it's like 52 and a half.
Yeah, it's
like
it's going to be high scoring.
From what we've seen from Perry's games, you think about the Shelby Valley game, you think about this Whitley game. I mean, there's been 80 points scored in every one of these games. I think the lowest scoring games that they've had, even like the Breathitt game was in the mid-20s, the Somerset game was in the 20s.
One more thing. The only thing, and this is like advice, I really don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to act like I do for a second. The only thing, if you're Letcher, you can't become with Peyton. Peyton can run.
Yeah.
But in this game, you can't become one-dimensional.
One-dimensional. Yeah.
He's got to be able to throw that ball. If he can't, if they will put a game plan and put 9 in the box and stop you running, if that's what you're doing.
So, it's funny. I feel the complete opposite of you guys.
Okay.
I think
I can say how I feel.
Perry scores. LCC and LCC can score too, right?
Yes.
But man, LCC's defense, I know they got a lot of points scored on them last week.
Yep.
But they stood up against that team who was obviously a better team.
Well, you just mentioned a while ago, I mean, they gave 2 pick sixes up.
Yeah.
I mean, that right there is 12 points. I mean, honestly, at the end of the night, if you're only giving up 27 to Corbin, I mean, you honestly didn't do that bad.
That's what I'm saying. And I think if LCC can control the clock, I actually think the only time Peyton should throw the ball is if it's play action.
Right.
Yeah. Because I think if they can control the clock, run the ball, because they got multiple ball runners. Is Quentin in?
okay?
Is he good? Do you know? Does anybody have an update on that? If we were really good at our jobs, we'd do that and find out.
Well,
if he's hurt or not.
to be fair, if it was really Friday night, we'd know.
I've coached him before, and I think he needs to be seriously injured before he
Yeah,
sits
no,
out.
he wanted to go back in.
He's going to be out there.
I was on the front row, and he wanted to go back in, right?
Yeah.
I knew Gunner got hurt, and I was like, he is not going back in. That boy is hurt. But Quentin, I was like, he kind of wanted to go back in, and I think he might have went back in at the end of the game.
Yeah.
One more thing too is like to make sure his health good from his accident. I don't know if you guys know.
Yeah,
throughout
he got
the week,
car
he got in a
accident.
car
Yeah.
accident.
Oh, throughout the
We're
weekend?
glad you're okay.
Throughout
too.
coming. I think it was yesterday or the day before he got in a car accident. But I think he's okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Sure, but that feels
that's
like
another thing too that you have to look out for with him.
Well, if you play hard football, it feels like you're in a car accident anyway.
Every day.
So, when I think LCC could pull it off, I still think the lack of your starting quarterback really hurts. And I think I really could see like a 28-21 game.
With
something like with Perry on top. But I think it'll be close. LCC fans are going to show up. Right, they're going to show up.
No, it's going to be packed for sure.
And it's going to be loud. It's going to be loud.
And unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yeah, and let me tell you,
it's Perry and Letcher.
Yeah,
it's going
to be wild. I'm gonna wear like extra clothes so you can't. So when we're all fighting, they can't rip everything off of everybody.
It's like staying in the car.
Yeah, it's good. No, prove us wrong, Letcher County Central.
I'm going to take. I'm going to lay out my prediction. I don't even think I made one for Leslie and Breathitt, but I am for this one, and I will be the other side to this. I'm going to say Coach Logan Johnson comes up with the game plan, and Coach Junior Matthews comes up with the game plan for Peyton that fits him. Maybe some sprints. You can sprint him right. Maybe give him a little bit of read option with really, really easy dinks and dunks, and a couple. Just quick drags and slants, maybe at the most. Maybe you get to one situation where it's second one, you get to take a shot, and that's it. But otherwise, let him run it. Put him in some situations where you don't know who's getting the dang rock. Like I do agree wholeheartedly with what Dusty said. They got a few guys that can tote the ball. They do. They're packing.
And a lot of the games that Gunner won this year, he was like 6 for 9.
Yeah, they set it up with the run.
Yeah.
I mean, every game. So. I feel like they come in here and maybe it is like ground control and ball security. And this is crazy. And you mentioned this, put this thought in my head, but you won't believe in coaching basketball how much who the officials are on the game plays into the game. Maybe not determines the outcome, but plays into how you play it.
Yeah.
And for Perry Letcher, like you said, every year it's PI, it's a personal, it's a,
Well, the Corbin game, they didn't call a thing. There wasn't nothing.
So, if they're not calling anything and they're like, they let Letcher's physicality like show up and they don't get too emotional in this game and, they're going to be in the locker room like playing for Gunner, I think Letcher finds a way to get this done in a really, really close one. I mean, I'm kind of like you. I'm gonna find it really hard to believe if the offenses cancel each other out. So I'm gonna take low 30s to high 20s.
I'll be there calling it, man. And I'm hoping for that. I'm excited about it either way.
Well, one of my favorite parts, I will say this. One of my favorite parts about usually when we do the game on site, and not that the garage is better or worse, but usually we're on site, and one of the best things is coming home. And, of course, I've got it on TBS, but I'm flipping through all the different outlets and listening to everything I can consume at once. The radio, if I have a tablet, like I've got everything going at once. And it's just the modern day of football that we're living in high school sports. It's so amazing. So, good luck to you Friday night, and I hope it goes amazing.
Looking forward to it, man.
You'll be amazing on the mic. TBS, of course, we will be here. Knott County, that's coming right up. Guys. Wow, I don't even know how we're going to edit this. I don't even know how much time you're going to get at this.
I'm going to cut all Ethan's parts.
We're cutting all the bird talk. Who would call it bird talk?
If they cut my story, you just wait. I will throw my phone through the TV first. And
please comment below. Tell us if you like the setup. You can say no. Shoot me a message. Tell us if you like the setup. I mean, I think our intentions are to do something from the garage, from the bicycle garage, from the man cave, maybe more often than just every Friday evening, or maybe not. We don't know.
Just stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Guys, on behalf of TBS Cable Hometown 24, enjoy the game. Martin, Knott, Dusty, Coach Ethen Cummings. We'll see you next Friday? Maybe.
Maybe.
Next Friday live.
Live!